Welcome to Sweethearts or Rivals. I'm Charla.
I'm Justin.
What are we doing today?
Today we're going to be talking about 2017 Hal-Con.
We went this year.
We did.
It was kind of fun.
Kind of?
It was really fun.
I had a lot of fun. It was good. Mm-hmm. And it's been a long time since we've been. The last time we went, they overbooked and they had to lock the doors and a lot of people got stuck outside, and if you were inside you couldn't leave because if you left then you wouldn't be guaranteed to get back in. It was like a big mess.
Yeah.
So we haven't been in a while, but we went for a couple of reasons.
Well, one reason was to meet Rodney Smith and Tom Fassel.
Yeah. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we have gotten into Dungeons and Dragons a lot in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
D&D, especially the Organized Play Adventures League, has kind of blown up, especially in this area, which has been really awesome. And so there is epic D&D going on at conventions.
Yep. Well, first we got there and we played some games.
Yep.
We got to play Junk Art for the first time.
That was interesting.
I kind of liked that game. It was really neat.
I liked it a lot. It was cool. And we didn't even get a chance to play a full game. You're supposed to play like 3 cities, and each city has a different win condition. So we only played one because then we had to do something else. But just the pieces, it was the wood version. Very cool, tactile, building stuff. Just fun. It's like when I was a kid and was playing with Lego, what can I build? But with rules and stuff.
Yeah.
That was neat.
I'd actually like to get a copy of that game.
Definitely. Yeah. And I'm looking for games right now that I can get for the board game club at the school that I'm working at, because I need to start our library. And I think that would be a very good game to get.
I think so, yeah.
Kids would love that. So that's cool. I definitely want to play that more, and I think I want to get it. And I was really surprised by who designed it. I had no idea.
You didn't know?
I did not know who designed that game.
The guys that did Belfort.
Yeah. That's awesome. Definitely want to buy that. I don't want the plastic one, though.
There's a plastic one?
There's a plastic version.
I thought there was only the wood version.
Nope. I seen it on Board Game Bliss not that long ago. A plastic version.
Oh.
I definitely would
That would be harder to play, I think, because the pieces would be lighter.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely want the wood version, though. Always, wood is better than plastic.
I agree.
Yeah. What else did we do?
We got to play with Sabi, which is cool because I don't think you can buy that game anymore. And we played it at Hal-Con like years ago.
Yep.
And I really liked it. It's a tile-laying kind of set collection game. And it's like the theme is sushi.
Yep.
And the art's really cute. So.
It was neat.
And there's a player color as pink. So that doesn't hurt either. But I love tile-laying games, and how you get to lay your tiles is how you make your sets.
Yep.
So it's kind of really puzzly. I enjoy that one a lot. And we only get to play it when it's like in a game library somewhere. Yeah.
And we got to play it with 4 players, which was kind of neat. That was different because suddenly right at the very end, it was possible for you to succeed at several recipes at once because of all the tiles everywhere already kind of mixed up.
Yes.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Then what do we do?
We went to the vendor's floor.
Yeah, it was different. The last time we went, there was one floor of the convention that was all gaming, and the bottom floor was the vendors. And this time, the bottom floor was all for gaming, and the vendors was in the arena, where, like, if you've ever been to a concert and they have, like, all the arena type.
Yeah, or a hockey game.
Yeah,
it's
like
big for a hockey game.
Yeah. So you kind of looked around, and there was all these, like a stadium style seating all looking down at you, but there was nobody there because everybody was down on the floor. That was weird. But it was neat because there was more space.
So many vendors.
And yeah, a lot of vendors.
Yeah.
The only thing that was kind of weird about that was you get to a certain point and think that that was the end of the vendors, but actually it wasn't because it went under the bleachers a little bit. So there's actually like hidden vendors.
Yeah.
That was kind of odd.
I found that it might have been a little too many vendors.
Yeah.
Because they were really squished in there.
Yeah. And a big part of Hal-Con is the cosplay. There's a huge draw of cosplay, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't cosplay, but I think it's cool that people get all dressed up and do a lot of work on their costumes. But there needs to be, and I think I put this in my kind of feedback form, there needs to be like a dedicated area for people in costume to have photos done. Because there were too many vendors, too packly tight together, with too many people pausing for pictures, blocking everything. And it was a real pain to get around. Especially if you had like a bag slung over your shoulder.
Right, and if you're trying to meet up at a certain vendor.
Yeah.
I couldn't find like a map of where all the vendors were located.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It might have been on the website, but when I tried to look it up, it wasn't easy to find.
Yeah.
So we had a hard time because we needed to get to particular booths.
Yeah.
And we didn't have time to like really go through every aisle looking for everybody.
Yeah. So that was kind of a bummer. And the other thing, too, with the vendors was there were not very many vendors with board games. And the couple that were there, a lot of the board games weren't the latest, greatest, newest stuff.
Well, there were popular ones.
Yeah.
But I find our area doesn't tend to get a lot of the greatest, newest stuff.
So that was a little disappointing. There was a lot of very cool like arts and crafts type stuff.
Yeah.
Which was neat.
And a lot of vendors for the cosplay. Like you could buy stuff for cosplay.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was supposed to be a nice big section with a couple of like food vendors, and there was one, and it was pizza. And there was a huge line because that was it. That was disappointing.
But they were a sponsor of the convention.
Yeah.
So maybe there weren't allowed to be other types of food there because they were a sponsor.
That's just ridiculous.
I don't know how sponsors work, but maybe that's why it was the way it was.
Although it is better than last time we went there when there was nothing except for
cafeteria food.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Yeah.
So at least it was better than that.
Yeah.
Then after that, we headed back to the gaming floor because we had
a Tier 2 Adventures League adventure scheduled for us.
Yeah.
And I got to play my favorite character, which is Nala Jenkins. She's a Cobalt barbarian fighter with a 5-foot flame tongue greatsword.
So 2-foot kobold, 5-foot long flaming greatsword.
Just picture like Dot the Animaniac bouncing around with a 5-foot flaming sword.
Yeah.
That's Nala Jenkins.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's very amusing to watch Nala go.
I love playing Nala.
Yeah.
Who'd you play?
I played Mittens. There's a race in D&D called the Tabaxi, and they are like biped cat people. However, Mittens is not actually Tabaxi. He uses all the rules for Tabaxi, but he's actually a house cat that was the pet of a wizard, and there was a horrible polymorph spell that went wrong, and the wizard has disappeared, and Mittens is now a biped cat who's very against slavery. So he's an assassin, and he wanders the land looking for his former owner so he can take him out before he becomes a slave again.
Oh my goodness.
Which is just amusing. So we got to play, and that was quite the adventure.
Yeah.
Holy
it was
cow.
scheduled only for 2 hours, which is a really short adventure.
Yeah. And there was a full table of 7, which is the maximum number you're supposed to be able to have at an Adventures League table at D&D. And a 2-hour adventure, and there were several scenarios. And this guy had, instead of like a mapper or anything like that,
He had real minis.
yeah, and he had like these plastic bases with doors and stuff, so you could see like a 3D layout of
pretty cool.
what was going on, and you open the door and he would move it. Anyway, it was impressive. But what was more impressive was the speed and efficiency with which this guy ran his combat. It was, by the time it was your turn, it was expected that you had rolled your attack dice, knew if you had hit or not, and had the damage ready to give to him. And if
I couldn't do that.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was too hard.
But you did good. And one of the things you did was, usually when you're playing D&D, it's like, what did you roll to hit? I rolled a 13. Does that hit? And the DM would be like, yes. Then roll your damage, and blah, 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 blah. Now, the first time somebody attacked something, you'd be like, you missed, armor class is 17. And everybody would just know.
No, I think he only told us the armor class once we hit him.
Yeah. Okay. That's probably true. Yeah. Once you hit, then you knew what you needed to hit. And again, like, okay, one of the bad guys throws a fireball. The DC is 15. Everybody just had to do all their stuff and knew exactly what was going on. And with a bunch of new players, that wouldn't work.
No.
But equally impressive was just how the whole table of players all knew what they were doing and got right into it.
And we all coordinated as best we could.
Very good and tactical. Like, you're doing that? Okay, well then I'm going to do this because then we can do this. And yeah. That was impressive.
I have to tell the Nala Jenkins story, though.
Yes.
About the final boss.
Yeah.
Because it was like the Duke of something or other was bad and we had to chase him down in this dungeon. So he finally came in and he was a Duke. So Nala's like, oh, go kill him. And she charges right up and rages and she starts swinging at this guy. And then on this guy's turn after, he turns into this great big huge snake person.
Yeah.
So Nala got up there without having to make whatever save it was, because now he's a great big snake person. You can't approach him.
Yeah, he's got like an aura of fear.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So every time someone came up to try to help Nala kill this guy,
they'd fail.
They fail their save, and they ran away. And Nala's like, what are you doing? I'm here trying to kill this guy all by myself. And she's like, a 2-foot cobalt. And this guy is like... He said he had the actual mini, so it must have been like a 10-foot snake man.
Yeah, he had the little tiny kobold mini like that big, and then this snake dude was like massively
big.
It was like that big. It was
big.
Huge. Yeah, it was awesome.
And she got grappled in his mouth
and
had to make a strength save to free herself. And she did, but by the time she got free, she had 4 hit points left.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was so scared she was going to die because it's the new season with the stupid death curse.
Yep.
She didn't die.
Yeah.
Someone killed him before she died. So it was cool. But she kept like watching all her comrades like run up and run away. And run up and run away.
I was lucky I was playing Mittens.
Yeah.
Mittens does not run up and engage people. He stays really far away and snipes them. And I think I killed the guy.
I don't know who killed it, but I'm really happy that someone killed it.
But yeah, I was able to snipe from afar, so I was backing you.
I even have a picture, so I'll like put it up of Nala trapped in this guy's mouth.
And then what was really funny, and I love this, it was awesome. If I'm DMing Dungeons and Dragons and I reduce a player to 0 hit points, they fall unconscious.
Oh yeah.
And then they have, every time it's their turn, they have to make a death save because they're bleeding out. If they get 3 failures, their character dies. If they get 3 successes, they stabilize and they're unconscious, but they're alive. Usually when that happens, my thinking is the bad guys are like, okay, that person is no longer a threat.
I'll kill him later.
Yeah, I'm going to go kill that person now. So this guy had picked, the big beast had picked Nala up, was strangling him, or strangling her, and then she got away. But then he did it to somebody else, and that person didn't get away. And so he had like 4 attacks. The first one crushed this guy down to 0 hit points. And instead of dropping him and doing the other 3 attacks on somebody else, he did the 3 attacks on the unconscious body. And I think 1 missed, but the other 2 hit. And because they're already at 0 hit points, each of those hits was a failure
for the
death save. And then it came to the guy's turn, and he had already 2 failures, and he rolled and failed and died. And I was just like, whoa. That guy just died. And it's the death curse season, which means he's dead. And could possibly be... Because you can always spend money and get him resurrected or whatever. But no, not this season. This season he's like dead and his soul might be devoured. That was crazy.
It was crazy.
It was kind of cool, though.
No, it was off. The whole table, like, we were so loud when that happened. Like, no!
Like, the whole table, yeah. It was awesome. It was super tense.
It was tense.
Yeah. I was just like, I'm glad Mittens is way back here because that's just not happening to Mittens. It was crazy. But it was good. It was just really, I don't know, it was really cool because it was super effective and fast and fun and it kept the tension up and everybody played together really, really well.
Yeah.
Which is really awesome when you're playing at a table with a bunch of strangers you've never met and played before. Yeah. Like... There's local tables that we know the people and have played with them that don't run anywhere near as effective as that.
It's true. That's sad. Anyway.
But eventually we will get there. I hope. Someday. I don't know. But it was still awesome. It was amazing. What do we do next?
Then it was time for us to play some board games.
Yep.
So we didn't have a lot to choose from. But one game that was there that was on the newer side for us, because we never played it, was the New York 1908.
That was interesting.
It was the one where you're building skyscrapers in New York.
Yeah.
And then you have to build them on certain streets to get points. And if you build, You have bronze buildings and silver buildings and gold buildings, and you're going to get points for some gold buildings. Or if you build some epic buildings, you're going to get the points for those epic buildings.
Yep. And you get the points for everything you build as you build it. And all the pieces are kind of almost Tetris style, like they're fitting into certain areas. And you need to claim land before you can build on it. So you're trying to puzzle. You're kind of having like an area control for that.
It's a little spatial kind of puzzle.
Yeah. And then, of course, there are different end game bonus scoring cards that will be different each game, which is also kind of neat because that'll make it different every turn. It was neat. I enjoyed it.
I don't think I'd run out and buy it, though.
No.
But I'm glad we had a chance to try it.
Yeah. It was definitely a good game. And if somebody like brought it over and like, let's play this, I'd play it and I'd have fun.
Yeah.
But I think we have too many games that were kind of similar. Nothing exactly like it, but we have a lot of spatial puzzle
games,
that I would rather play. Yeah.
So then what did we play next?
I know what we tried to play next. We tried to play Clank.
Yeah.
Because we went to the library and we looked at all the games that were there, and again, I think I put this in the end of the convention kind of feedback. They have good games in their library, but the library is kind of small. And a lot of the games are, if you're into modern board gaming a lot of the games are what we might consider like really good classic games. Not a lot of new hotness.
Yeah.
Which is a little disappointing. I mean, it's great that there's like really good games that people who are new to gaming can get into, but when you're already done that and you want to go to a convention to get into some new stuff, I'd like to see more new stuff. There was one game there that we saw and we're like, we need to play that, and it was Clank. Because we've been interested in it and curious about it, and we've never played it. So it was there, and it was out all the time. It was always out. So we didn't get to play that at this point.
No, we picked a different game.
Yes.
What did we pick?
We picked the Harry Potter deck building cooperative game, which I didn't really have a ton of interest in playing.
No, but I was curious what it would be like.
And we do like deck builders. And we kept wanting to play Clank, which is a deck builder. So we grabbed that because it was a deck builder, I guess. Anyway, we grabbed it. And we sat down at a table, and I was about to start going through the rule book, and this guy came up and said, hey, are you looking for extra players? And you had actually gone somewhere.
Yeah.
So I was by myself, and I was like, because,
We're just shy and introverted, yeah.
And then he said, I know how to play the game. And I was like, have a seat, sir. Teach us how to play. And his name was Andrew.
Yeah.
And Andrew taught us how to play. And then right when we were about to start, somebody else joined us. And it was?
It was Jessica from the Bored to Death YouTube channel.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Luca's wife.
Yeah. And Luca was going to join us too, but...
He was already demoing his new game.
Yeah.
The Neon Knights game.
Yep. Plus, you can only play the Harry Potter with 4, so we already had 4. But it was cool. Jessica got to sit down because she had wanted to play it forever. She's a big Harry Potter fan. And so Andrew taught us how to play and ran the game, and I was able to just kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy the game. That was cool. And what did you think of the game itself?
I liked that game. And it was neat how it kind of follows the story. So you start off a little bit easier, and then as you go through the different modules of the game, it's going to ramp up the difficulty because the wizards are getting a little bit older and they're facing some more difficult challenges.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And it was really thematic. Like, you actually did feel Harry Potter-ish when you were playing the game.
Yeah. And I was playing Neville. And the stuff that, like, Neville's starter deck felt like Neville, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And the very first game we played, very, very basic deck building mechanisms. So if you had never played a deck builder, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And then as you go again through the modules, the different books are going to get more difficult, and the mechanisms are going to get added in to make it a little bit more unique. That is a brilliant idea.
Especially the Harry Potter theme can be more for a younger crowd.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to give basic mechanisms like to young kids,
Yeah.
like, this is a really good game to introduce them with, I think.
Yeah. a great gateway that will eventually lead a little bit out of gateway into...
Yeah, you could go from like Harry Potter to Clank sometime.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you had gone through all the Harry Potter books. Mm-hmm. That's really cool and kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
Just to kind of lead people into it. I don't know if I would want to go buy it.
No, I think if we had kids, we'd want to buy it.
Yeah.
But we don't. And we already have quite a few deck builders.
Exactly.
And now we're kind of curious about Clank 2 or Clank in Space.
Yeah.
So we're probably leaning more towards those than we would the Harry Potter one.
Yeah. But it was very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, me looking for games for the board game club at school.
That would be one for them. For sure.
Definitely would like to get one of that. Like a copy of that for the school. Because, it'd be perfect. Get into it. And it's also cooperative. So they won't be trying to kill each other all the time.
Yeah.
Kids are aggressive. They just want to mess with each other all the time.
Ah, they're young. That's their fun. That's their bread and butter.
I guess so. Yeah. So cooperative is kind of neat. Get them to like work together.
Exactly.
Neat. Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah, and it was really cool too because we forgot to mention when we were on the vendor's floor, we got to meet Luca.
Yeah.
And that was really neat because his was one of the channels that we used to watch first before we even got into making our own videos. Yep. So, yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Because I didn't even know he was going to be there until, like, Hal-Con was posting pictures of people setting up. Mm-hmm. And I saw his booth, and I'm like, holy moly, we're going to have to, like,
go find him and say hi.
Say hi. Yeah. And I didn't think I was going to introduce ourselves because I'm too shy for that, but...
Well, it's funny because we brought our Sweethearts or Rivals t-shirts. And I wore mine on Saturday.
Because that was the longer day. Yeah. I didn't want to wear mine on the long day.
And then you were going to wear yours on Sunday. Yeah. So on Saturday, when we were going through the vendors, we stopped by his booth. And we said hi. And he said hi. And then he kind of stopped and looked at my shirt and said, Sweethearts or Rivals, that's you guys. I know who you are. And
it was so weird for us.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
And he gave us a copy of Street Kings, his new game, so that we could check it out.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Which will be on the channel.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we said that we would do a playthrough with more than 2 players.
Yes.
So it'll take some time for us to coordinate that to get it on the channel, but it will be on the channel.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah. And I like racing games, so it'll be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he talked a little bit about the new game, the Neon Lights. It's going to be on Kickstarter sometime.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool. I think it's 80s themed, maybe.
The
picture looks like it's neon. Like, it really reminds me of the 80s.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to research that and see.
Yeah. Like, future, but the future as viewed from the 80s.
Okay. Because I'm a sucker for, like, the 80s. Because, of course, like, I was 5 in 80 and 10 in 85. So it's, like, my time. Yeah.
So that would be cool. Excellent. So what did we do then? Did we get to play Clank then?
No.
No, because it was still out.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a group of games, and they were like giant-sized versions of games.
Like demo things.
And apparently if you talked to the coordinator of that library and played one of those games, you got your name in a draw to win a copy of that game. So they had a giant-sized version of King Domino.
Which was a game that I've seen a lot of people in love with, like on Twitter, and really like talking it up.
Yep.
So I was interested to try it.
Yeah. And it seemed like a shorter game because we were still keeping an eye on the people who were playing Clank. So it was funny. It was actually kind of difficult to like follow the stuff because it was just like I was listening to what needed to be done, and I'd be like, "No, they're still not done." Okay, no, keep going. Oh, they're still not done. Okay, yeah, no. Oh, it's my turn? Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, here it is what I'm going to do. But it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Of course, it's kind of Domino's mechanisms.
Yeah.
King Domino. But you're, like, building up your little empire, like, and you're connecting, like, wheat to wheat and water to water and forest to forest. And you're scoring points based on how big those areas are, times how many crowns are on, like, any of the tiles that are in that section.
Yep.
So it was a really interesting spatial puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, probably not one I'd want to buy.
But it's really interesting. It would be another really good one for the school.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we already have Honshu, which is a little bit similar to that, but a little more gamery.
Yeah. Yeah. If I wanted something like King Domino, like if I wanted to play a game with that kind of feeling, definitely Honshu would be the game I would want to go play. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely would be great for the school. I'd love to get my hands on like one of the really big versions like we played for the school because that would be cool. Especially
because you do have some students with vision challenges.
Yep.
So that would be perfect for them to play.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be cool. So that was neat. We played that. And I think we were just finishing up and starting to pack up. And I noticed that the table with Clank was bringing it back.
Yeah.
And I had actually gone up to the table that where you take games out and stuff like that, and I had asked like, "Can I get my name on like the wait list for that game?" And they're like, "No, we don't do that." I'm like, "Okay." So I ran up, and they were trying to put it back into the system, and they found out that the table that had been playing it hadn't even checked it out; they had just taken it away. It was kind of funny. And then I said, "Great, I'll take it," and they're like, "Actually, it's on a wait list." And I was like, "What?" And then the guy cracked a smile and said, "I'm just kidding." I'm like, "You're not funny." And then we laughed because it was funny. And then we took it out and we got to play Clank.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's kind of weird because when we looked at the new space version of Clank, it was mentioned a lot like it cleared up a lot of issues that people had with the original. But then we played the original. I didn't feel like there was any issues with it.
It was the first time we played, though.
True. But did you feel like there were any, like, I don't really know how this works because it's unclear?
No, but we had watched Rado's run-through of the space one. Yeah. So maybe that helped us understand the rules better when we read them?
Maybe.
When you read them, I mean. I didn't read them.
But it was a very, like, straightforward deck builder. Except instead of just focusing on building a better deck, it was like, I'm going to use this to do stuff on the map and the dungeon crawl.
Yeah.
And the dungeon crawl was very thematic and it was very cool. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I liked it, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't find anything too difficult about it, or
no.
Maybe that was that the issue, that it wasn't challenging if you played it over and over again?
That's an interesting question because the dragon didn't ramp up its difficulty much at all.
Hardness with our Clank either.
Not a lot, no.
We hardly took any damage.
Yeah. I don't know if I just managed to get really good cards that let me, because I got a lot of cards that let me get rid of my Clank.
Yeah, you could mitigate your Clank.
A lot.
Yeah. But I didn't.
Yeah.
And I even took damage in the end of the game just to like get out faster.
Yeah.
And I think I only had like 3 or 4 damage by the end of the game. Unless we were playing wrong.
I don't know. I enjoyed it, and I definitely want to play it more, and I would like to get some version of the game.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I want to get the original or the space.
It's funny because I'm sitting here thinking about theme, and I know I said in the Tiny Epic Quest that I enjoy space themes more than I enjoy fantasy themes, but now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I think I'd be equally happy with a Clank in fantasy or a Clank in space. The Clank in Fantasy has an expansion already with a different board, I think it is.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I think I'd be equally happy with either one. But the Clank in Space is a modular board, so it potentially has more replayability because of that. I don't know.
And I think the modules are double-sided.
Are they really?
I think so. Whereas the board, there's 2 boards because it's double-sided.
For the fantasy one.
Yeah. And if you get the expansion, then you've got 4 different boards, basically. But I think the only thing that's kind of edging the space out for me is, the modular board, that's kind of neat. Because if it's double-sided, that's 6 different modules that could enter. That's a lot of replayability.
But then also when we watched the Rado run-through, it was all like the parody of different sci-fi things.
Absolutely.
That would be entertaining.
Yeah. And the fantasy
stuff. It's like a metagame.
Yeah.
What's this from?
The fantasy stuff had cool fantasy stuff, but I didn't feel like, oh, I know where that guy came from.
Right.
Like, I didn't feel that at all.
They could have done that. There's enough fantasy movies out there.
Yeah. But I didn't feel like that.
No.
Yeah. It was all very cool stuff, but none of it was, like, parody that I could see.
Maybe by the time we have enough Patreon money saved up, we could, like, put a vote.
Yeah. Do you want us to get Clank or Clank in Space?
We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because, I definitely want to get one of them. Because it was a lot of fun. I'm also thinking that maybe if we played more than 2 players, as fun as it was with 2 players, I think with more, there'd be more tension.
Yeah, it would be a little bit more frantic.
Yeah.
Because we'd be adding more clank, and it would go in the bag more often.
Yeah.
And then you'd have more people on the board, like, interacting a little bit. I don't know that the people really interact with each other that much, but it would be interesting to see the board a little bit more full with people.
Yeah. And there's that whole, like, somebody who's doing really well and gets really deep into the dungeon. Somebody who's not doing so well can be like, well, I'm just going to take this 5-pointer and run for the exit. Like, stuff like that would be kind of cool.
It was just thematic for that kind of a theme.
Yeah. It was neat. I was impressed. I definitely want to buy a version of Clank. And at that point, we were tired.
That was day 1.
Yeah, it was late.
It was a long day.
So we went to bed.
It was a good day.
Yeah. The next day we got up and we had to go right to the convention super early because we had signed up for the Sunday
Epic Adventures League game.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. We got there and we had not had a chance to play any games with Tom or Rodney. We had met them and said hi. We got to go to their seminar.
That was cool.
Yeah, which was really neat.
The how to deal with difficult people in board games.
Yeah.
Or board gaming or whatever.
Yeah. And they were really funny. So that was cool. But we didn't get a chance to play a game with them. And when we got there, it looked like Rodney was packing up his stuff.
Yeah, but he was just getting ready because they do a board game blitz. It's like a contest, and different people compete at different games, and I think the winners get to compete at different games. Like, I think there's an ultimate winner or something. I'm not sure. So we did get a chance to get some photos with Tom Vassell and with Rodney, which was kind of cool, and talk with them a bit. Yep. Even though I felt dumb. You don't have to feel dumb. Well, it was funny, like, just... It was interesting because we're both introverts, so we're going to this big convention. And you were a little nervous about going to this big convention with a lot of people. A little nervous? Okay, you were a lot nervous. Like, I was having panic attacks for like 2 weeks before the convention even started. And I wasn't that worried about being in crowds of lots of people. So somehow I have developed a way of dealing with how I deal as an introvert with large groups of people. And I was okay. But as soon as we would meet one person and talk with that person, I was like, I'm Justin. Oh, hey, how you doing? I'm Justin. Like, it wasn't like that. I wasn't able to just, like, talk and be myself. I was just, like, I would climb up. And you would be fine. Which is funny. I was okay. I was scared on the inside. It's just funny that I have figured ways of dealing with large crowds of people, and you figured out a way to deal with individuals that you've just met. I'm usually better with one person than I am with 3 or more people. So that was kind of cool. It's funny because at the end of the panel, Tom got the entire crowd to say, close the door. Shut the door. Shut the door. Right. But when we met him and talked with him and got a picture with him, he asked, did I get you guys to do a shut the door yet? And I was like, yeah! Because, of course, we did one at the panel. He meant, like, just us. Yeah. And afterwards, like an hour later, it clicked. Oh, that was stupid. He obviously meant that. I was okay, though, because, like, they did a compilation of all the shut the doors. Yeah. And I think I would have been way too nervous just to see me and Justin, like, just saying... I don't know, I think it would have made me way too panicky, like, to be included in, like, just the single people. Yeah. But in the great big crowd, like, I could see myself, I could see Justin, and we were saying, like, shut the door! So I was good with that. Like, I was okay with, like, not speaking up and saying, I think he means just us. But I was good. Like. And then we were talking with Rodney, and Rodney is in PEI, but he's actually from the same area that we live in, Yarmouth. No, he's from Halifax, but his family descendants are from Yarmouth or something like that. Yeah. So every now and then when we chit-chat, he talks about maybe coming down sometime. And I was like, that would be cool. Yeah, let us know if you're coming down. We'll get together and play a game. And Charla's like, there's a convention in Yarmouth next year, next summer. And in my brain, didn't even click to even mention that. Never even thought of it. I was just like...
And Charla's like, by the way, there's this. And Rodney's like, really? You need to tell me information about that, which should have been so obvious. But my brain is just like, that's Rodney. He's cool.
Justin. Oh, dear.
So I felt kind of dumb afterwards. But it was still fun. It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I had fun.
Yeah.
We still didn't get a chance to play games with him.
No, he was too busy. And I feel like, I don't know, like, we're kind of peers, but we're not peers. But I didn't want to take time away from his fans playing games with him, even though we're fans of him. I don't know. I felt bad about taking time away from other people that don't do this, like, as a hobby.
We're too considerate.
We're Canadian. We can't help it, I guess.
I suppose.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. We got to the convention Sunday morning and immediately started playing the epic D&D for 4 hours, which was neat. So instead of there being one table with one DM and a bunch of players playing one adventure, there were, I don't know, like 10 tables or something crazy like that.
I don't know. There were so many tables of Tier 1 going on and so many tables of Tier 2 going on.
And it was a lot.
And then there was like an overall like coordinator of the event. So at specific intervals, they would like yell out, "This is happening right now in the town that you're having your adventure in." And it was supposed to impact us in our adventure, but it was so confusing it kind of didn't.
Well, if everything had run smoothly, the idea was that there was one really big adventure happening, and each of the tables was kind of doing their own part of the mission. So whenever we completed one of our quests, our DM would write something down and run it over to the DM, and then it would actually help another table. And the Tier 1, which are the lower level characters, were doing some of the like little things that would help the Tier 2 higher level tables actually find clues to the whereabouts of a big pirate we were supposed to be finding. And there was the pirate we were supposed to find. There was a guy dressed up as that pirate wandering around the tables doing stuff. And then there was the pirate that he had ticked off, wandering around throwing bombs at tables and stuff like that.
And doing damage.
Yeah. So it was a really cool concept and a really neat idea. There were so many tables. They were so close together, and everybody was yelling, trying to get stuff done. The coordinator had a megaphone, and I could out-yell her on the megaphone.
It wasn't a real megaphone. I think it was a megaphone that you could buy at Toys R Us.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
And it was not well done. Our DM did an excellent job, and I had a lot of fun playing in the game, but honestly, the interruptions were just a pain in the butt because he really couldn't tell what was going on.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I made the coordinator mad because at one point there's like 3 tables behind me yelling at her, "We cannot understand what you're saying." And I just turned around and yelled, "You need to speak up because we don't know." And she just ignored me and kept going. And I just started to like talk to the tables behind me and then yell back at her, and she kept ignoring. Yeah, it was annoying. That definitely went in the feedback because that needs to be done better. And then there was a great big finagle, like we need to start at 10 and at 5 after. There's this massive lineup of people, and she still hadn't done anything
to assign us to tables or anything.
Yeah, just it was weird, not well organized. But the DMs that were running the individuals' tables did a really good job, and the 2 individuals dressed up as the pirates were pretty funny and cool. That was kind of neat. At one point, somebody gave me a bomb and said, "That's lit," and I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "It's lit." So I whipped it at another table, which was just funny.
But we still took the damage.
Yeah, because they whipped it back. But it was funny. It was kind of neat. Anyway, the other thing about the Epic was previous years where people had gone to the Epic, they came back with really cool stuff. Somebody came back with like a griffin mount. That is awesome. We didn't get really much of anything.
No.
Nothing really spectacular.
And then there was supposed to be a market where you could trade your stuff.
5 chens, yeah.
And I thought like you were going to be able to trade your stuff.
Yeah, like there would be all this cool stuff.
Yeah, but there wasn't cool stuff.
No.
There was a bunch of stuff you could buy, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then the stuff you could trade your items for, like, it was set and it was all pretty basic and unexciting.
Yeah. +1 armor, +2 weapons, like just very basic stuff.
And I wasn't going to get anything. But then, I don't know, I saw this Peach the jumping goat, and I just thought Nella probably really wants a jumping goat. So she ended up buying Peach the jumping goat.
Yeah.
So what Peach the jumping goat does is in the new season, every time it senses a dinosaur around, it's going to jump on Nella's back, and Nella has to make a strength save or be knocked prone. But she's just going to think that's fun and awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, my goat's playing with me. And, like, it's just at random times, too. The goat's going to jump on Nella. Like,
Yep.
It's kind of funny. It's something that... It's not the smartest thing to do, but Nella's not the smartest character, so it's perfect for her.
And it'll be funny.
Yeah.
And then you have, like, plans to later on be able to get, like, the Find Familiar spell to turn Nala into your familiar so she can never die.
Peach into my familiar.
Right, Peach.
Yeah.
For Nala's familiar. And then maybe turn it into a mount.
Maybe. I don't know if that'll work, but I didn't have that plan when I bought Peach,
Yeah.
but the more I thought about Peach, the cooler Peach got. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it would be funny to see a 2-foot kobold on a medium-sized goat, peach-colored, with a 5-foot long flaming longsword, like, charging across the battlefield.
Can you imagine?
That'd be cool.
And Nala, she has randomly gotten some Horseshoes of Zephyr, which are a magic item for creatures that you ride, and it lets the mount hover, so it doesn't leave tracks, and I can go across water or lava or something too. I don't know if it'll work on a goat. We have to look into that, but just picture it. Like, isn't that perfect for a crazy Animaniac character?
Yeah. I think it'll work. Goats have hooves. It should work.
We'll have to see.
That'd be cool.
Anyway.
Yeah. My main character, Justinius Rexus, has always wanted to have himself like a little keep or a little base of operations. And I was able to actually buy one. So I have a certificate with where it is and how much it cost and the upkeep and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, the trading, I had all this really good trading stuff that I would have set up my characters perfectly, and it was just, there was +2 weapons.
That wasn't what the market was there for, I guess.
Yeah. It was very disappointing.
Yeah.
I think maybe what makes the Fai Chen markets a lot better is people will bring in their the certificates that they got from other games.
Right.
And suddenly there's a lot more at the market, and there just wasn't a lot of that. That was a little disappointing. But I did get rid of some stuff that nobody wants that I needed to get off my characters.
Right.
So it was helpful, just a little underwhelming.
It wasn't epic.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully next year they do some fixing up of that so it'll be even better. Because it was good, but it was definitely not epic. Yeah. What else did we do?
Well, after that, it was actually getting quite late in the day because we had a 4-hour drive home. So we had to meet some people to sell some games so we could have one more game before we left.
Yep.
So we played TAC.
TAC?
Which is the abstract game. I was interested in it because I've seen a lot of people talk about it and how it's a great abstract game.
Yeah.
So it was nice to, like, play it. But I'm beginning to realize that I'm not sure that abstract games are my thing.
No. Not really.
Like, I don't mind an abstract game with a little bit of theme to it, but a purely 100% abstract game is not my cup of tea.
No, not at all.
Like, even Onitama is a good game.
Yep.
Because it's really neat because of the cards and it's going to change each game you play.
Yeah.
But I'm not good at it. And TAC, I was really not good at TAC at all. Like, you would have to play that game a lot, I think, for me to be good at it.
Yeah. I think I would have enjoyed it more if it had been a much smaller board, a much tighter, quick game. But it was a big board, and it was just like, I don't know, I guess I'll put it here. I guess I'll put it there. Oh, well, I see you're going to win, so I'll do that.
See, but with those kind of games, you have to play them quite a few times before you even develop a good strategy on how to play.
True.
And we only played it the one time.
Yeah.
But my curiosity was satisfied in having played it the one time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Abstract games, not really our thing. Yeah. We like games with story, narrative, cool stuff.
Could make up a story, I guess, when you're playing TAC.
One day I was walking along as a piece and I decided to stand up here instead of fall down.
Yep.
Oh no, somebody's on top of me?
Yep.
Yeah, that's boring. So we played TAC. It was okay. We moved on. We had just during the D&D Epic, one of the people we needed to meet was in the board game Blitz, so I ran over real quick, and we managed to pick up a previously played, but honestly the condition it's in is almost like perfect, right out of the box type thing, copy of Voyages of Marco Polo.
Ooh.
Which is awesome.
Which is reprinted now, which is funny. But for ages, it was the hardest thing to find.
Yeah. But we have it, and it is in excellent, perfect mint condition. And we got it for cheaper than the reprint, which is awesome. But, again, me and my meeting people kind of dumb, we're walking along, and Tom says, "Hey, are you guys going to play that?" And I'm like, "No, we just bought it."
And it's funny because at that exact moment, like, was right after we had done the market, and my binder of characters, like, fell opened.
And fell
apart.
Yeah.
In front of this great big line that they were trying to move along really fast. So I was, like, really beet red. I was really embarrassed. I was in fight or flight to get out of that game floor. Like, I needed to be away from all these people that just saw me have this... I mean, it's not an embarrassing thing. But at that moment in time, it was like, I'm going to die of embarrassment. Like, I just can't even handle this. I got to get out. So I was like, fight or flight. We're walking by Tom Vassell. I'm like, hi. Yeah. And he's talking to Justin, and I'm still like, I've got to get out of here. So my brain wasn't even working at all at that point.
And I'm just dumb at this point. Because it was obvious that he was kind of like saying, "Are you going to play that? Let's play." And I was just like, "No, we just bought it. Bye!"
And I'm running for my life.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So that was frustrating. Just because afterwards it's like we had the chance to sit down and play a game with Tom Vassell. A really cool game that we've seen him review, and he enjoys it a lot, and we
enjoy it.
Yeah.
You play it online all the time.
Yeah.
You guys would have really kicked my butt, but I don't care.
It would have been really fun.
Yeah. But we were on our way to meet some people at 3:30, so we only had like 40 minutes, I think. So we actually, I don't know if we could have moved that meeting with those people. I don't know if we could have made it happen. But later on, I was like really kicking myself for not, thinking of, maybe we can move some stuff around. But no, I was too scared of being in that crowd, and I was like, I said, running for my life.
Yeah. So that was a bummer. Yeah, that would have been cool to play a game.
Sorry, Tom.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. I hope Tom comes back next year.
I hope they invite him to come back next year, and I hope he's able to come.
And I hope we get some better games on the game floor, so there's more for us to do there.
But also, we could bring some games, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, Rodney had a bunch of games that you could play with him.
Yep.
And there were a couple of there that I would have liked to try.
Yeah.
And one of them was the numbers game, which I watched someone's video on it before Hal-Con, just so that I would kind of have an idea, like, if we got to play a game with Rodney, like, how to play.
Yeah.
And I really would be interested in that one, because it's a tile-laying game, and you're building, like, one level, and you can build levels on top of that, and then your points are dependent on like the number of the tile. Say it's a number 4, and if it's on a certain level, it will be timed by that level is how many points you get.
Cool.
So that's my kind of game.
That's kind of neat.
It's abstract-y, but it's kind of interesting. It's really puzzly and spatial.
Yep.
And another one that he had there was the Vikings Gone Wild, which was a deck building game.
Yeah.
And Viking themes are funny.
Yeah.
And it would have been interesting. Like, you're collecting resources to buy, like, buildings, I think, and fight monsters. And it's a race to get so many points first.
Yeah.
So that would have been a fun one to play, too. So those were the 2 games that I found interesting that was in Rodney's stack.
Yeah. I wonder if we'd been able to go the Friday. Because it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday I had to work, so we didn't get to the convention until like,
5 to 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got to like see some stuff, but we didn't really get to do anything that day.
Yeah.
Next year, from what I think is happening with the convention, it's on the same, like it starts the same day, Friday, as the provincial teachers convention, which means I'm going to be in Halifax on Thursday. I'll have to go to my teachers convention for Friday, but I'll be done at like 3-ish, and it will already be in town. So
and
that'll be cool.
I think Hal-Con starts around noon on Friday.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. We'll be able to pick up our bracelets for the weekend on Thursday, because we'll be in town on Thursday. And then, as soon as I'm done with the teachers' convention, we can just go right to the convention because it'll be.
And I could even go if I'm brave enough, but no, I wouldn't be. But I could go when it opens.
You could.
And wait for you to get there.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. Crowds are just not my thing.
Yeah. So it's cool.
It's funny because I always think about like the videos and like how shy and scared I am in real life and how I can be myself when I'm talking to that little camera right there. But actually it's hundreds of people. But I don't think of that.
No.
So the people watching these videos actually know me better than people that I talk to in real life. It's the weirdest like riddle ever.
Yeah. But that's okay. It works. Mm-hmm. What else did we do? We met a bunch of people. We sold a bunch of games. And we bought a couple of games. Which kind of like is a weird thing because we lost a bunch of games and we got some new games, but we got less games. Normally you want to get rid of a couple of games and get more, but it's actually good because we've got new good games and our collection has shrunk a little bit. Because our collection, I'm finding, is a little bit too much.
Because, when you have so many games to choose from, you never know what game to play.
Yeah.
And sometimes the really good games just never get played because you feel like I've neglected that game for so long. I really should play it. And then you play it and you're like, oh, it's not as fun as I remember.
Yeah.
I should have played that other game I really wanted to play.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So I was actually very happy with how that worked. We got rid of a bunch of games out of our collection that we don't play very often. And then we used that to get a couple of really good games that we wanted to get.
And I think most of the games that we got rid of, well, we can say what we got rid of on the list. Weren't the greatest games for us, maybe thematically, or maybe weren't the greatest two-player games.
Good games, but not games we needed to keep in our collection anymore.
Yeah, like, so we got rid of Town Center.
Yep.
Which I found interesting, but the scoring was complicated. And to understand how to win the game, you have to understand the scoring. And I didn't, so I didn't have fun with it.
The placement and the scoring are both really complicated and not intuitive whatsoever.
So we were going to have to play it a lot of times for me to get it really down pat.
Yep.
But that wasn't going to happen.
And it wasn't...
So we had to let it go. Yeah.
It was interesting, but not fun enough to play it that many times to get to understand it.
Right.
Yep.
So then another one was Byzantio.
Byzantio.
Which is a really cool game.
Yeah.
But I think it shines with more than two players.
Yep.
And we just never played it with more than two players. Because when we have people over, of course it's a more obscure game. And we weren't good ambassadors for the game. Like, we didn't, like, pull it out and say, oh, this is a really cool game where you're, like, have to try to deduce these things and move your armies across the board. And we just didn't do that. So it ended up...
Very cool, unique game.
Yeah.
But, definitely
we just
not
never
a two-player.
Got it to the table.
Yeah.
Last Will.
Last Will is an interesting story.
I like that game.
Yeah.
But the few times I played it were enough for me to play it.
Yeah, exactly. So that went on.
So if people had that at their house, I would play it with them.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel the need to keep it in my collection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
I like that game, but there's other tile laying games that I liked more.
Yeah. I think what kind of throws that game off for me is every turn the builder has to take all of the stuff and set all of the prices, and I don't like that as much as here's a tile, here's its price, and it gets cheaper as it comes down.
Then you can plan out your strategy better.
And actually, the expansion secrets, which we got, kind of killed that game for me. Because you can't take everything out and start playing. You need a certain number of each kind, which means it takes 10 times longer to set up with the expansion, which is stupid. They should not have done that. That was ridiculous. So that kind of killed it. Really, the only reason we still had it was really neat to build a castle, but not neat enough to go through all of the setup to do it. So that's gone.
Yeah. And then we got rid of Oddball Aeronauts.
Yep.
Which is just a two-player game. But when we played it, it didn't click for me at all.
Yeah.
At all.
It's like a two-player battle game.
Yeah.
With the neat thing that you don't actually have to put your cards down. Everything's just held in your hand. but it just, it wasn't all that great.
It didn't click for me at all.
No.
Yeah, I didn't like the combat.
Yeah.
So that's gone.
Yep.
And then Migration is a abstract game.
Mm-hmm.
And we just talked about how abstract games really aren't our thing.
Yeah.
But it was a cool theme.
Yeah. It was
little
very
bugs
neat.
And stuff.
And it was a really good, like, we had a Kickstarter version, so there's actually 2 versions of the game, Book 1 and Book 2, and it had all of it, which was neat, but yeah, it didn't really click, didn't really drive me to want to play it. Mm-hmm. So that's gone.
Yeah. And Seven Ronin.
Seven Ronin, wow.
I know, you were wanting that game for ages.
Yeah, like
and
really
ages
badly.
And ages. Yeah.
The theme of that game was just like, this is going to be amazing, and then we played it, and we have videos on it, and we played it. We even have people who
gave us
strategies and like private messages and messages on, like, we got a ton. And still, I don't know what it is about that game, but when I play it, I have no idea what I'm doing, and it's just an act of frustration.
An exercise.
Yeah. And it doesn't even matter which side I'm doing. If I'm the ninjas or the Ronin, I just feel like it doesn't matter what I do. Nothing is really going to matter. I'm just going to lose anyway. And if I win, I don't feel particularly accomplished in winning because randomly I just lucked out and won. Yeah. And I don't think it's the game. I think it's just we don't know how to play it. And for some reason it doesn't click with us, so I can figure it out. Yeah. So that's gone. And I'm okay with that.
And then another one was The Pillars of the Earth, A Builder's Duel, which we didn't actually end up getting to the channel.
No, which is okay, because it wasn't really all that great. It didn't knock my socks off.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
But I didn't feel like I was playing Pillars of the Earth when I was playing it.
No.
Because that's what I was kind of looking for, a version of Pillars of the Earth for 2.
Yeah.
And I think I'd rather play Pillars of the Earth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was, honestly, it was just kind of like an abstract, like, block each other, get stuff for points. It really, I don't know. It was interesting mechanisms that meant nothing when you played it, except somebody won. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. So we got rid of that.
And the last one was Flip City.
Yep.
Which I did like that game more than some of the other games on the list. But you didn't.
No.
So you weren't going to play with it with me. So.
No. The idea that your deck of cards, one way, has to stay that way, and if you drop a card, you have to remember which side it was on.
Yeah. And
if you can't, then it goes to the worst side, and just yeah, it wasn't that great.
I found it interesting though.
It was an interesting idea.
And I liked the art. It was a cute theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm terrible for dropping stuff, so it's not really a good game for me in that sense. Because I would shuffle my cards and they'd all be on the floor, and it's like, oh no.
Well, that game's over.
We better just start again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's gone. And we picked up a couple of games. We got a copy of Street Kings for free from Luca, which is cool. So we have a review copy. That was neat. Yep. We bought King's Abbey.
From their booth, actually.
Yep.
Yep.
For an excellent price.
Yep.
That was impressive.
We had watched Rado's run-through of that when it was on Kickstarter, and we're quite interested in Kickstartering it.
Yep.
But we just didn't.
Yeah.
So we always kind of had an eye out for a deal for that game.
Yeah. And I think, of course, this is right when like the American and Canadian dollar shifted, and it was going to be like, oh, it's not a bad price, but actually once you switch it over to Canadian funds, that's really like expensive. So we got it for a really good price, which was awesome. So I'm looking forward to playing that.
And we got a game that you just are in love with right now, and you'd rather be playing that right now than making a video.
I would be. We got Yamatai.
Yeah.
Not for a great price.
No.
That was an expensive game.
Yeah.
But we had just sold out our games, so really it didn't cost us anything. So that's okay.
Kind of. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. So that's okay. So we got Yamatai, which is awesome. That's cool. And of course, The Voyages of Marco Polo we got.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is also, that's just awesome. So we got a couple of really good games that I'm really looking forward to playing. Yeah. Cool.
That was our whole Hal-Con weekend. I think this video is a little bit longer than I intended.
That's okay.
But we just wanted to talk on about how much fun we had.
Yeah. And I got to see friends I hadn't seen in forever. I got to see a friend who I haven't seen in like 17 years.
Like since university?
Yeah. And it's funny because I saw him, because he's a giant, from like across the way, and I was just like, and then he
is literally a giant.
Oh
though.
yeah,
he's taller than Tom Vassell.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, and he's like, ah, and
he was more like, oh.
Yeah. And I was like, it's a Hal-Con miracle. Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, it was cool. Lots of cool costumes, neat stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing I was very disappointed with.
Oh no.
Was they have lots of actors and stuff like that come to Hal-Con.
Oh,
it's actually a pretty big deal. They get a lot of like well-known people, and this year they had announced that one of their guests was going to be
Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh my god.
Mr. James Marsters.
Oh my god.
That would have been cool.
Did I ever want to meet that guy?
We actually maybe might have paid to get a picture with him.
Absolutely. I definitely would have paid money to like meet him and get a picture taken.
I don't know if I could have.
Oh, I would have.
I think I would have been a nervous wreck.
Spike is one of the best characters in the best TV show ever created. Yes, better than Firefly. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is the greatest TV show ever created.
I didn't know this about my husband.
Yeah. And we just recently watched the entire series, binge watched it again after like it being off the air for a decade or two. Like, yeah. And enjoyed the entire series again right from the beginning. Just, yeah. Like, they had some really good guests that I didn't really have any interest in meeting. But that was somebody I wanted to meet. And then, like, a couple of weeks before the convention, his schedule changed and he had to cancel and he didn't show up.
Maybe another time, though.
Yeah. They did have some really good guests. But
they did. They had Bobby from Supernatural.
Yeah. They had Foggy from Daredevil.
That's true.
Yeah.
And another guy from Buffy.
Yeah, Tom Lenk.
He was the cool nerd.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did have some really cool people, but no one anywhere near the coolness of Spike. Like, I really wanted to meet him.
And maybe we would have almost got run over by him, like we almost got run over by Colin Ferguson that other year we went.
That was cool. The last time we went, Colin Ferguson was there, and we were a big Colin Ferguson fan because that guy is freaking hilarious.
He is funny.
And we were going through the convention and needed to use the bathroom. So Charla goes into the girls' washroom, and I'm on my way into the guys' washroom, and on my way out, Colin Ferguson is like coming in, and we almost run into each other. And that guy is super awesome Canadian like coolness because he's like, oh, excuse me, and smiled, and then we went by each other, and then I'm on my way out, and I'm just like, okay, Charlotte, you got to get out of the bathroom really quickly because you're going to miss him. He's going to come out, and you're going to miss him. Come on, Charlotte, get out of the bathroom. And then Charlotte comes out, and as she's coming around the corner, he comes out of the guys' washroom, and they almost run into each other, and again, super cool guy.
Excuse me.
Exactly. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But no, nothing like that happened.
No, we didn't get a picture or anything, or a movie.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
It happened. We'll remember it forever.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get a chance to maybe see James Marsters next year. They should try.
Who knows?
They should try to get him
what
back.
they'll do. Yeah.
James Marsters is definitely one person I would like to meet. Another person I would really love to meet at a convention would be Nathan Fillion.
He'd be cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then, like, the king of awesomeness would be to meet
Bruce Campbell.
Oh yeah, Bruce Campbell would be awesome too.
Hail to the King, baby.
Yeah. But even better than Bruce Campbell would be
Jean-Luc Picard.
No. Jean-Luc Picard. Actually, that would be kind of cool. Patrick Stewart would be awesome. But no, even best, like the king of all of them. The one person I would like to meet the most. There were actually rumors of this guy showing up that everybody thought was being kept like secret under wraps.
Oh.
And then he wasn't actually a guest this year.
Torchwood.
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
The Arrow.
Yeah.
John Barrowman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy is awesome.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
And he's so, like, when you see his Twitter account and, like, how much he does with his fans.
Yeah.
Like, I would be less embarrassed, I think, to, like, try to meet him.
Yeah.
Because he thinks it's cool.
Yeah.
Like.
He's such a cool guy.
Yeah.
I would pay a lot of money to get a picture with that guy.
Really?
Yeah. I hope he comes. That'd be cool.
It would be neat.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's not a lot of people I would pay money to get a picture with, but those people are some of them. We'll see for next year. I'm looking forward to next year.
Yep.
I definitely want to go back. The last one we went to before this year made me not want to go back. And it took a couple of years for me to want to finally go back. And this year, I'm glad we went. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
It was a lot of fun this year.
Yep.
Yep.
So, that was our Hal-Con experience. And next year, we're going to have a Hal-Con experience and hopefully a Y-Con experience. Because Yarmouth is getting its own mini convention.
A mini convention. And I think they're kind of modeling it after Hal-Con.
Yeah.
So it should be a similar experience, but on a small scale.
Yeah.
And we won't have to travel.
Which is awesome. Cool.
And if you've made it this far into this epically long video, thanks for watching.
Thanks a lot.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Laters.
It's funny because the shut the door, I would kind of wanted to do it Canadian style, like two people meeting in the door. Like, I'd be like, oh no, after you.
Please, after you.
After you.
No, after you.
After you.
Please.
After you.
No, go ahead.
Fine, I'll go first, but you shut the fracking door.
Fracking door?
That's what I would have wanted to do. But too embarrassed to do that in front of Tom Vassell.
And then nobody did it in French.
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny.
I could have maybe done it in French, but I don't know if it's right or not. I could have said, Voulez-vous fermer la porte, s'il vous plaît? Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, I don't speak French.
Someone will tell me if that was right.
Yep.
Shut the door.
Bye.